This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. First, the headlines. Analyst reacts over Rivers Assembly crisis. Wike's wife sworn in as appeal court judge. President Tinubu swears in new permanent secretaries. NMPCL seeks fresh $2 billion loan. Death toll from Indonesia landslide rises to 23. AGN introduces new laws on actors' welfare. Real Madrid to unveil Mbappe 16th July. Now the news in details. Analysts expressed dissatisfaction on the position of Rivers Assembly lawmakers as to which of the faction is saddled with constitutional right of duty in the state. Speaking on Atlantic Television Open Conversation, a political analyst, Ugochukwu Oputa, expressed further on the judicial conclusion of the matter as concerned. Ugochukwu Oputa said that peace is the pathway to development.
Their action, because yes, we know their constitutional approach to this, but a lot of persons have canvassed conventional out of settlement, you know. And if you are showing an approach of where you want peace and you want mutual alliance and understanding, that house went on from the day they started sitting to start and pass laws that sort of stifling and, you know, was tying a noose around the neck of the governor and the executive.
This is coming out as the Rivers lawmakers loyal to Yet Arakwaja to investigate Obir. The PDP NWC urged all its leaders, key stakeholders, and numerous members in Edo State to remain united and focused, and to continue working diligently for Ighodalo's victory in the September 21st, 2024 governorship election in Edo State. 23-year-old boy, simply identified as Samson, has been arrested by operatives of the Delta State Police for stabbing his mother in Obiaruku to death. Atlantic Television Network gathered that Samson was initially sent to Asaba, the state capital of Delta, to learn a trade after his secondary school. However, he was sent back a few months later after joining a group of boys involved in drugs, which affected his brain. It was learned that he was brought back to Obiaruku, where his mother took him to a native mental health facility for treatment. Speaking on the incident that occurred yesterday, an eyewitness who demanded anonymity explained to newsmen that the boy had been addicted to drugs since his return from Asaba. They further stated that operatives of the state police came to arrest Samson while he was standing close to the corpse of his mother. When contacted by newsmen, the spokesman for the Delta State Police Command, XP Bright Edafe, responded that the suspect had been arrested. Analysts have expressed grievance following the recent headsman attack on a farmer in Delta State, blaming it on corrupt public office holders. Speaking on Atlantic Television Blowout, a socio-political analyst, Stephen Okechukwu, emphasized on the need for security accountability from state governors and other public office holders across the country.
It speaks, you know, I find it hard to believe that headsmen or herders would, you know, go the herders institution as it is. Mieti Allah, I do pray and hope will come out to speak out and speak against all of this. Well, you don't find, it's hard to find Mieti Allah speak when it's, sounds this way.
In view of national integration, Okechukwu Stephen suggested that the Miati Allah headers group should be called to query by the government as concerned the incident.
Speak against all this. Well, you don't find, it's hard to find Mieti Allah speak when it's, sounds this way. Well, if it were to have been the other, if the tables were turned, you would hear Mieti Allah. So what I would like to hear, or what we would like to see, is a statement by Mieti Allah, not just condemning this, but if they do have a way to get around it by, obviously, thankfully, members of the press have gone ahead to carry out the investigations, and now shows it is...
Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has described the demise of a House of Representative member, Mr. Olaide Akinremi, as shocking and a great loss to the state. ATN gathered that the two-term All Progressives Congress lawmaker and chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Science Research Institutes died in an Abuja hospital after a brief illness. Makinde mourned Akinremi in a statement issued by the Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Mr. Dotun Oyelade. The governor, who prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased, ordered the flags be flown at half-mast across the state in honor of the late lawmaker. Police on Wednesday arraigned a footman, Kolawole Lamidi, before an Iyakangu Magistrate Court, Ibadan, for allegedly possessing a Dane gun. Lamidi, whose address was not provided, was charged with possession of a Dane gun, to which he pleaded not guilty. The prosecutor, ASP Foluke Adedosu, told the court that the defendant committed the offense on July 5th at about 7:30 p.m. at Agbada village, Ibadan. Adedosu said Lamidi unlawfully went armed with the gun in public, causing terror to Abiodun Olasun Kami and two others. She said the offense contravenes Section 417D of the Criminal Laws of Oyo State, 2000. The magistrate, Mrs. M. Olagbenro, granted the defendant bail in the sum of 200,000 naira with two reliable sureties in like sum. She adjourned the case until August 1st for hearing. National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, his wife Hafsat, and 6 others will appear in court on Thursday to face charges related to alleged bribery, diversion, and misappropriation of funds amounting to billions of naira. This development followed a notice of trial served on the respondents through substituted means by order of the court. The Kano State High Court granted the order on June 5th, 2024, allowing the state to serve the 7 respondents through substituted service, which was subsequently executed via advertisement in 2 national papers on June 6, 2024. Justice Amina Adamu, who presided over the case, granted the order following an application by Zaradine Kofar Mata. Justice Eberichi Suzette Nyesom Wike, the wife of the Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike, was on Wednesday sworn in as justice in the at the Court of Appeal. Atlantic Television Network reports that the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, swore in Justice Eberichi alongside 21 other justices at a ceremony held at the Supreme Court complex in Abuja. Recall that the Director of Press and Information of the Supreme Court, Festus Akande, confirmed in a statement on Tuesday that the swearing-in of the new justices will take place at the main courtroom of the Supreme Court. Other judges who took their oaths at the ceremony include Abdullahi Liman from Nasarawa State, Abiodun Akinyemi from Ogun State. Wola has asked the new judges of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory to be prepared for troubles, uncomplimentary remarks, and verbal attacks from litigants. Justice Ariwola said although he congratulates the 12 new judges, he still sympathizes with them because of discomfort they would encourage in the discharge of their judicial duties. The CJN, who spoke on Wednesday while inaugurating the High Court judges, said that although judges were not magicians, the litigants or uncomplimentary remarks and do their jobs in line with the dictates of the law. Police FCT Benneth Igwe has ordered a thorough investigation into the matter to ascertain the source of the human parts, the intended buyer, and how long Ezra has been involved in the alleged business. Atlantic Television Network gathered that the suspect is currently in police custody and will be charged to court upon completion of the investigation. This development came as a shock to residents of Abuja who have expressed concern over the increasing cases of criminal activity in the city. But the police have assured the public of their commitment to ensuring the safety and security of all residents. Nigerian Customs Service Sokoto Zamfara Command on Wednesday auctioned 56,164 litres of petroleum motor spirits seized from smugglers in Sokoto. While declaring the exercise open, the command's comptroller Kamal Mohammed said the exercise was in compliance with the directives of aimed at discouraging smuggling in the country. He attributed the current fuel scarcity across the country to the smuggling of petroleum products, adding that the command will ensure Nigeria's economy is protected. The controller, however, on behalf of the CG, warns the smugglers to desist from their actions, noting that Nigeria Customs will run them out of your illegitimate business. You are watching Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break.
Jack us up and down like this now.
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey. Light o usa. The infrastructure nko, e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, Madam. Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from laptop.
Yes, we saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Madam, sorry oh, please don't call.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Fuck is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato.
Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy am. Make her show you something.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
And with broadcast support from Atlantic.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in a new set of permanent secretaries in the Federal Civil Service. He performed the ceremony as a precursor to the regular meeting of the Federal Executive Council inside the Aso chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The president hinged the appointment of the PERM secretaries on the need to fill existing and impending vacancies of some states and geopolitical zones in the top administrative cadre of the Civil Service of the Federation. Recall that the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation embarked on a diligent selection process for the new PERM secretaries, comprising a written examination, an IT proficiency test, and an interactive session with a broad spectrum of stakeholders. At the end of the exercise, 8 directors of the Federal Civil Service scaled the hurdles and were Emanso Okop, Omobong Akwa Ibom, Emeka Vitalis Obi, Anambra, Fatima Sugra Tabia Mahmood, Bauchi, Mohammed Sanusi Danjuma, Jigawa, Olumbumi Olashanya Ondo, Mariam Ismailia Kashinro, Samfara, Chinyere Joma Akujobi, Southeast Zone, and Christopher Osaruwamen Isokunwu, South Zone. Federal government has initiated steps to review the existing Public Procurement Act as part of measures to instill discipline in fiscal expenditures. President Bola Tinubu appointed Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fabemi, to drive the process of review in combination with a special committee raised at the Federal Executive Council meeting on Wednesday. While the deliberations at FEC lasted, President Tinubu directed that all ministries, departments, and agencies MDAs should review their intended procurement as provided for the Appropriation Act. The directive is to ensure that where there are gaps between appropriated sums and the actual amount required to execute the projects, it can be brought to the attention of both the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and the Federal Ministry of Finance. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, who disclosed the information, said President Bola Tinubu today, in line with the desire to enhance more fiscal discipline and further demonstrate to Nigerians our commitment to serving them better, raised the issue of the reconciliation between the Appropriation Act, Public Procurement Law, and the Fiscal Responsibility Act. President of the Senate, Gospel Akpabio, says the National Assembly will ensure that every Nigerian has access to quality health care. Akpabio stated this at a public bill for an act to establish the Federal Orthopedic Hospital, Toro, Bauchi State, Amendment Bill 2024, and National Eye Center, Doma, Nasarawa State, Establishment Bill 2024. Akpabio, who was represented by Senator Osita Ungu, while declaring the event open, said that lawmakers must ensure every Nigerian has access to the care he or she needed. According to him, in a country where access to quality health care remained a challenge for many, establishing specialized institutions such as orthopedic hospitals and eye treatment centers was not just a necessity, but a moral imperative. Akpabio also said that the state of the health infrastructure in Nigeria was a matter of grave concern, adding that we lag behind other developing nations in terms of modern medical facilities and resources. Kano South Senator Kawu Suleiman Abdurrahman has presented a bill for the creation of Tiga State, which is to be carved out from Kano State. The bill was presented on the floor of the Senate on Wednesday, titled Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, Alteration Creation of Tiga State, Bill 2024. The bill underwent its first reading on July 10, 2024. Atlantic Television Network recalls that the upper legislative chamber was recently presented with a bill sponsored by Delta North Senators Ned Nwoko for the creation of Ani and 4 others representing the affected communities. Some lawmakers are also seeking the creation of additional states from Lagos and other states across the country. Senate on Wednesday suspended legislative activities over the death of a member of the House of Representatives, Olaide Adewale Akinremi, who represented Ibadan North Federal Constituency of Oyo State, passed on in the early hours of Wednesday after a brief illness. Akim Rotimi, spokesperson of the House of Representatives, announced Akinremi's demise during plenary on Wednesday after observing 1 minute of silence in honor of the dead. President of the Senate.
On behalf of the Senate, we condole with the family, the Speaker, and members of the House of Representatives. May soul rest in perfect peace. Accordingly, The Senate is hereby adjourned to Thursday, the 11th day of July, 2024.
Also, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, conveyed his deep sorrow over Akinremi's death. House of Representatives says the Stephen Oratanye Committee report on restraint agencies cannot override. The report was first issued in 2012, sought to reduce the numbers of departments and agencies of government. Rep. Ibrahim Asaka, the chairman ad hoc committee on the restructuring of government agencies, parastatals and commissions, said this at the public hearing in Abuja on Wednesday. He allayed fear being expressed by some of the agencies, adding that there was nothing to fear in the restructuring as proposed by the Orasanya report. According to him, whatever is in the report, the only institution that can tamper with the scraping of any agency, parastatals or commission is the National Assembly, which is by an act of Parliament. He said that there would be recommendations, but added that it must come through Parliament. He, however, assured some of the agencies, commission and parastatals that the Lakers would treat every document justly. Atlantic Television Network recalled that President Bola Tinubu had issued a directive to implement the long-held Orasanye Committee report in what he describes as his government's move to cut the cost of governance. The Federal Executive Council approved the full implementation of the Orasanye report on February 26th. House of Representatives on Wednesday queried the Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohanenye, for spending unrelated expenditures, including 45 million naira for a New Year party, 20 million naira for sanitary pads. Others include 1.5 million naira for vehicle fuel. Atlantic Television Network gathered that Rep. Kafilat Obara, chairman of the House Committee on Women Affairs, led the interrogation on the minister over the non-payment of 1.5 billion naira to contractors despite the fund release in Abuja. She said that the investigative hearing was aimed at uncovering the truth and not witch-hunting the minister and the officials of the ministry. The committee also investigated the alleged diversion of funds meant for contractor payments following a petition from contractors. The committee also sought clarification on funds appropriated for the African's First Lady mission and the whereabouts of the 1.5 billion naira meant for contractor payments. The minister, however, denied the allegations of misappropriation, overspending and non-payment to contractors. Supreme Court will tomorrow, Thursday, July 11th, deliver judgment in the suit filed by the federal government against the 36 state governors seeking full autonomy for the 774 local governments in the country. A document cited on Wednesday by newsmen at the Apex Court indicated that parties in the suit have been notified through their respective lawyers. Atlantic Television Network learned that the notice for the judgment delivery was served on the federal government through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice at the Federal Ministry of Justice in Abuja. Atlantic Television Network recalls that Justice Garba Mohammed Lawal had on Thursday, June 13, reserved judgment in the suit and announced that parties in the matter would be communicated once the judgment is ready. Justice Lawal, who led a 7-man panel of justices of the Apex Court, announced the reservation of the judgment after the federal government and the governors presented their cases for adjudication. The AGF had pleaded with the Supreme Court to grant all the reliefs sought by the federal government in the suit and granted the local government full autonomy as the third tiers of government in Nigeria and as envisaged by the constitution of the country. The autonomy, he had argued, should involve direct allocation of funds from the federation account to the local governments, instead of the present status where governors superintendent over the council's money. The AGF had also prayed for an order prohibiting unlawful dissolution of local government officials by the state governors. However, the governors, through their respective attorneys general, opposed the request of the federal government and asked the court to dismiss the suit. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has officially confirmed, affirmed and recognized Chief Edozie Njoku as the national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. At a resumed sitting on Wednesday, Professor Yakubu told Justice Mohammed Madugu of High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Buhari that the decision of the Commission to accord Chief Njoku recognition was in obedience to the court's order, which had declared Chief Njoku as the national chairman of APGA. Speaking through his lawyer, Ahmed Mohamed, the INEC chairman, told the court that the decision was to purge himself of the committal order placed on him by the court. Justice Madugu had on the 9th of November 2020 High Court Buhari to enforce a judgment of the Supreme Court in respect of the leadership tussle rocking APGA. After Michael Ajara, counsel for plaintiff applicants, had told the court the latest development, the INEC lawyer Ahmed Mohamed confirmed the situation of things at the commission. Mohamed also made an undertaking before Justice Madugu that he would file the meeting extract where the decision recognizing and putting Chief Edozie Njoku's name on INEC's website was made. Now to business news. President Bola Tinubu will meet with the organized labor in Abuja on Thursday to further discuss on a new minimum wage for workers in Nigeria. A top labor source told newsmen that the president invited the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress to the meeting expected to be held at the Aso Villa in the nation's capital city. The president is expected to make a decision on the 62,000 naira proposal of the government and private sector side, as well as the 250,000 naira demand of the organized labor. Atlantic Television Network reports that the Thursday meeting is coming at about a month after the president said in his Democracy Day speech on June 12, 2024.
But to the sense of merchant traders and retailers to make supernormal profit, while they excuse the hike in prices on these factors, that is depreciation of naira, increase in prices of petroleum products, and insecurity in farming region, thereby heaping the blame on the federal government. Note, there's a general attitude of get rich quickly or get rich by all means, leading many Nigerians to jettison being their brother's keeper.
In his contribution, Senator Ahmed Lawal stressed the need for the Senate leadership to engage the executive to ensure food flood in Nigeria. Worried about the situation, the federal government on Monday announced the suspension items, a move Senator Lawal believed should be thoroughly examined.
Price of foodstuff. Now we don't even have. That's the truth. Mr. President, in today's national dailies, the executive arm of government is saying is considering reducing or removing taxes on imported foodstuff. Mr. President, here's the catch. This Senate must engage the executive immediately. What are the issues which tax and I don't know about some other colleagues, but there in the north, or here in the north, we have started seeing it.
In his remark, Senate President Godswill Akpabio expressed concern over the high rise.
Analysts have stated that the challenges facing the nation's agricultural industry is not a problem of funding, but that of mismanagement and inappropriate personnel manning important arms in the sector, most especially as it concerns the political interests of public office holders. Speaking on Atlantic Television Blowout, a public affairs analyst, Okechukwu Stephen, urged on the need for effective implementation and specialty of duty in the agricultural sector without political bias and interference whatsoever as it may.
And to me, that document was sound enough to actually mitigate the challenges we're seeing in the sector. But then
Warri Itape train service will resume cattle transportation within a span of 1 to 2 months, enabling herders to move their livestock from one north-central region, Itape Kogi State, to the southern region, Warri Delta State. Atlantic Television Network learned that the NRC halted cattle transportation by train in 2017 due to technical issues. Okiria disclosed that the NRC has acquired specialized wagons for transporting livestock, which are currently being assembled at the Kajula facility in Oyo State. He stated that the NRC aims to modernize the transportation of goods in Nigeria. He emphasized that investments in railways should prioritize the social and economic well-being of the people rather than solely focusing on generating profits. He noted that while the benefits may not accrue directly to the government, the indirect earnings will still contribute to the overall growth and development of the economy. Recall that President Bola Tinubu had on Tuesday announced a plan for a new ministry dedicated to livestock development. Tinubu also inaugurated. Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited is in talks for a fresh $2 billion oil-backed loan to boost its finances and allow investment in its business, the company's chief executive officer, Mele Kyari, told newsmen during an interview. The group chief executive officer, Mele Kyari, said the new financing would allow concerns by Dangote Refinery over its inability to get Nigerian crude. And now to international tidbits. 12 children were killed in South Africa early Wednesday when a minibus taking them to school near Johannesburg overturned and caught fire after being hit by another vehicle. The Gauteng provincial government disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday. The driver of the minibus was also killed while 7 other children were rushed to the hospital. It could not immediately give the ages of the children. Television images showed that the minibus was totally destroyed. Blamed the stray missile from Ukraine's own air defenses for the damage to the hospital. He noted that Kyiv was trying to exploit the tragedy to coincide with Zelensky's participation in the NATO summit in Washington. Now to entertainment news. Actors Guild of Nigeria has introduced new bylaws for the Nigerian film industry as it presented as the final report on the 10th April boat mishap that claimed the lives of actor John Odonwodo, popularly known as Junior Pope, Other Side of Life movie. The boat crash raised concerns over safety issues on movie sets, prompting calls for thorough scrutiny and higher standards in the industry. The president of AGN, Emeka Rolas, made this known via his Instagram account on Tuesday, July 9th. According to Rolas, actor Emeka Ike's committee with Jude Ohoha serving as the secretary. Nigerian comedian and actor Adebowale Adedayo, popularly known as Mr. Macaroni, has urged fellow celebrities to seek redress in court if they feel defamed by online trolls rather than use the police to illegally arrest or detain anyone. He claimed that he had been defamed on several occasions but never took justice into his own hands. He warned that there was serious danger in using police to illegally detain citizens. The movie star urged his colleagues to stop using their friends in government to illegally detain citizens. Mr. Macaroni's advice is coming on the heels of reports of Nollywood actress Toyin Abraham arresting an ex-user who allegedly wished her child death. Nigerian artists globally. Spotify's head of artists, who had gained the biggest global numbers, were reviewed in Spotify Music Global Impact List for 2024. She said that Raul Alexandra and Iris star Santa came top of the list, and Iris star's Koma emerged second, while Thames passion and unity through sport. Shakira had previously performed at major global events such as the Super Bowl and 3 World Cups. Atlanta that the 2024 Copa America final will be between the Argentina and the semi-final clash on today, Wednesday, between Uruguay and Colombia.